To my professional duties are in doubtful taste. I didn't become head jailer because I liked head jailing. And I didn't become an assistant tormentor because I like assistant tormenting. We can't all be sorcerers, you know. Now, you brought that upon yourself.
Colonel Fairfax is not a sorcerer. He's a man of science and an alchemist.
Oh, well, whatever he is, he won't be one for long. For he's to be beheaded today for dealings with the devil. His master nearly had him last night when the fire broke out in the Beecham Tower.
Oh, that he'd escaped in the confusion. But take care. There's still time for a reply to his petition for mercy.
I'm content to chance that. For this evening at 7:30.
You're a cruel monster to speak so unfeelingly of the death of a young and handsome soldier.
Young and handsome? How do you know he's young and handsome?
Because I've seen him every day for weeks past, taking his exercise on the beach and tower.
Curse him.
There. I believe you're jealous of him now. Jealous of a man I've never even spoken to. Jealous of a poor soul who's to die in an hour.
I am. I'm jealous of everybody and everything. I'm jealous of the very words I speak to you, for they reach your ears. Yet I mustn't go near them.
How unjust you are. Jealous of the words you speak to me. You know as well as I do. I don't even like them.
You used to like them.
I used to pretend I liked them. It was a mere politeness to comparative strangers.
I don't believe you know what jealousy is. I don't believe you know how it eats into a man's heart and disorders his digestion and turns his interior into boiling death. You're heartless jade, you are, to trifle with the delicate organisation of the human interior.
And our days are not so faded, but that we with one consent, were our loved land invaded, still would face a falling foe, as in days of long ago. Still would face a falling foe, as in days of long ago. As in days of long ago. day, Dame Brothers. Busy today?
All busy, aye. The fire in the Beecham last night has given me work enough. 12 poor prisoners, Richard Colfax, Sir Martin Byfleet, Colonel Fairfax, Warren the preacher poet, and 50 others, all packed into one small cell, not 6 feet square. Colonel Fairfax, who's to die today, he's been to be removed to number 14 in the cold harbour so that he can have an hour alone with his confessor. And I've to see to that.
Poor gentleman. Ah, but he'll die bravely. I served under him 2 years since, and he thought then of his life as if it were but a feather.
He's the bravest, the handsomest and the best young gentleman in England. He twice saved my father's life. And it's a cruel thing, a wicked thing and a barbarous thing that so gallant a hero should lose his head. For it's the handsomest head in England.
The dealings with the devil. Aye, and if all were beheaded who had dealings with him, there'd be busy doings on Tower Green.
You know very well Colonel Fairfax is a student of alchemy. Nothing more and nothing less. But this wicked tower, like a cruel giant in a fairy tale, must be fed with blood. And that blood must be the best and bravest in England, or it's not good enough for the old blunderbore.
Ugh, silence, you silly girl. You know not what you say. I was born in the old keep and have grown grey here. And please God, I shall die and be buried here. There's not a stone in these walls that is not as dear to me as my own right hand.
for the poor gentleman?
No, my lads. But there's one hope yet. My brother Leonard, who was a reward for his valour, his saving standard, and cutting his way through 50 foes who have hanged him, has been appointed a yeoman of the guard, will arrive this morning. And as he comes straight from Windsor, where the court is, it may be that he will bring the expected reprieve with him.
Oh, that he may.
Oh, mentor that, for the Colonel twice saved my life, and I give the rest of mine to save his. And wilt thou not be glad to welcome thy brave brother, with the fame of whose exploits all England is a-ringing?
Aye, truly, if he brings the reprieve.
And not otherwise.
Well, he's a brave fellow indeed, and I love brave men.
All brave men?
Most of them, I verily believe. But I do hope Leonard isn't going to be too strict with me. They say he's a very dragon of virtue and circumspection. Now, my dear old father is the kindness itself.
Ah, and leaves thee pretty well to thy own ways, eh? Well, I've no fears for thee. Thou'st a feather brain, but thou a good lass.
Yes, that's all very well. But if Leonard's going to tell me that I may not do this and I may not do that, and I may not walk with this one or talk to that one, but go through the world with my lips pursed up and my eyes cast down, like a poor nun who's renounced mankind, why, as I've not renounced mankind, and don't mean to renounce mankind, I won't have it, so there.
Nay, he'll not check thee more than is good for thee, Phoebe. He's a brave fellow, and the bravest among brave fellows. And yet it seems but yesterday that he robbed the lieutenant's of
Father!
Leonard, me brave boy, I'm right glad to see thee. And so is Phoebe.
Aye, as a rook Colonel Fairfax's reprieve.
Nay, I have here a dispatch for the lieutenant, but no reprieve for the colonel.
Poor gentleman, poor gentleman.
Aye, I would I brought better news. I give my right arm, nay, my body, my life to save his.
Dost thou speak in earnest, lad?
Aye, father, I'm no braggart. Did he not save thy life, and am I not his foster brother?
Then hearken to me that thou hast come to join the yeomen of the guard.
Well,
And none has seen thee but ourselves.
well, in the sentry he took but scant notice of me.
Now to prove thy words, give me thy dispatch, and get thee hence at once. Here is money, and I'll send thee more. Now lie hidden for a space and let no one know. I'll convey a suit of yeoman's uniform to the colonel's cell. He'll shave off his beard and moustache so none shall know him. And I'll own him as my son, the brave Leonard Merrill, who saved his flag and cut his way through 50 foes and thirsted for his life. He'll be accepted without question by my brother yeoman, I warrant that. Now, how to get access to the colonel's cell? The keys with thy sour-faced admirer, Wilfred Shekels.
I think I can get anything I want from Wilfred. I think, mind, I say think. You can leave that to me.
Then get thee hence at once, lad, and bless thee for this sacrifice.
Oh, and take my blessing too, dear, dear Leonard.
And thine too, eh? Thy love is newborn. Wrap it up carefully lest it take cold and die.
Alas, I waver to and fro, dark danger hangs upon the deed.
Dark danger hangs upon the deed. The scheme is rash and well may fail. The loves are not the hearts that quail, the hands that shrink, the cheeks that pale in hours of need.
The arms are not the hearts that quail, the hands that shrink, the cheeks that pale,
The hands that shrink, the cheeks that pale in hours of need.
The air I breathe to him my own, my life is his, I count it naught.
That life is his, so count it naught.
And shall we reckon the risks we run when services are to be done to save the life of such an one? Unworthy thought, unworthy thought.
And shall we
foretell, mayhem hell on. Mayhem
No, be of good cheer. We may save him yet.
Oh, see, Father, they bring the poor gentleman from the Beecham. Oh, Father, his hour's not yet come.
Oh, no. They lead him to the Cold Harbour Tower to await his end in solitude. The lieutenant comes, he should not see thee. Halt!
Colonel Fairfax, my old friend, we meet but sadly.
Sir, I greet you with all goodwill, and I thank you for the zealous care with which you have guarded me from the pestilent dangers that threaten human life outside. In this happy little community, death, when he comes, doth so in punctual and business-like fashion, and like a courtly gentleman, giveth due notice of his advent, that one may not be taken unawares.
Sir, you bear this bravely, as a brave man should.
Why, sir, 'tis no light boon to die swiftly and surely, and at a given hour in a given fashion. Truth to tell, I would have my life, but if that may not be, I have the next best thing to it, which is death. Believe me, sir, my lot is not so much amiss.
Oh, Father, Father, I cannot bear it.
My poor lass.
Nay, pretty one, why weepest thou? Come, be comforted. Such a life as mine is not worth weeping for. Sergeant Merrill, is it not? May I greet my old friend? Why, man, what's all this? Thou and I have faced the grim old king a dozen times, and never has his majesty come to me in such goodly a fashion. Keep a stout heart, we are soldiers, and we know how to die, thou and I. Believe me, it is better to die well than to live well, for in sooth I have tried both.
Is life a boon? If so, it must befall, that death where'er he call, must call too soon. A fourscore he give, yet one would pray to live another moon. What kind of length have I, who perish in July, who perish in July? I might have had to die, perchance in June. I might have had to die, perchance in June. Is life a thorn? Then count it not a whit. Nay, count it not a whit. Man is well done with it. Soon as he's born, he should no means essay to put the plague away. And I forewarn, for captured fugitive, my life most gladly give. I might have had to live another morn. I might have had to live another morn.
have a boon to beg. I'm in this strait for no better reason than because my kinsman Sir Clarence Portwhistle, one of the Secretaries of State, has charged me with sorcery in order that he may succeed to my estate, which devolved to him provided I down married.
As thou wilt most surely do.
Nay, as I most surely will not do, by your worship's grace, I have a mind to thwart this good cousin of mine.
But how?
By marrying forthwith, to be sure.
But heaven have mercy, who wouldst thou marry?
Nay, I'm indifferent on that score. Coming death hath made in me a most true and chivalrous knight, who holds all womankind in such esteem, that the oldest, the meanest, and the worst favoured of them is good enough for him. So, my good lieutenant, if thou wouldst help a poor soldier who has but an hour to live, find me the first that comes. My confessor shall marry us, and her dower shall be my dishonoured name and 100 crowns to boot. No put such poor dower for an hour of matrimony.
A strange request. I doubt that I should be warranted in granting it.
Then never was a marriage fraught with so little of evil to the contracting parties. In an hour she'll be a widow, and I a bachelor again, for aught I know.
Well, I will see what can be done, for I hold thy kinsman in abhorrence for the scurvy trick he hath played thee.
1,000 thanks, kind sir. We meet again on this spot in an hour. I shall be a bridegroom then, and your grace will wish me joy. Until then, farewell. I am ready, good fellows.
He is a brave fellow, and it's a pity that he has to die. Now, how to find him a bride at such short notice? Well, that task should be easy enough.
Rapidly into it we fling, but who doesn't see in the sad experiments, in the art of merriment, into it we grow. Come, who doesn't grow? Vanish your timidity, and with all rapidity, give us quick liquidity, willy-nilly, oh, river not can qualify, into it we throw. Who doesn't qualify, come who doesn't grow? Vanish your timidity, and with all rapidity, give us quick liquidity, willy-nilly, oh.
My friends, I pray you bear with us, and we will satisfy you, for we are merry folk, could make all as merry as ourselves. For look you, there is humour in all things, and the truest philosophy is that which teaches us to find it and make the most of it. Oh! Didst thou hear her say hands off?
I heard her say it, and I felt her do it. So what?
Thou dost not see the humour of it, eh?
Hang me if I do.
Well, thou dost not. Now observe. She says hands off. Whose hands thine? Of who of her? Why? Because she is a woman. Had she not been a woman, thine hands would not have been placed upon her at all. So the reason of the laying on of hands is the reason for the taking off of hands. And here we have contradiction contradicted. It is the very marriage of pro with con, for pro is no more unlike con than man is unlike woman. Yet men and women marry every day, we nod to say, oh, but the pity of it, except I and fools like me. Now, wherewithal can we please you? We can rhyme you couplets, triolets, quatrains, sonnets, rondelets, ballad, or what you will. Or we can dance you saraband, gondolette, carol, pimpernel, or jumping Joan.
Let us give them the singing pass of the Merry Man and the Maid. Therein is song and dance too.
Aye, the merry man and his maid.
I have a song to sing, oh.
Sing me your song, oh.
It is sung to the moon by a lovelorn loon who fled from the mocking throng. Oh, it's a song of a merry man, moping mum, whose soul was sad, whose glance was glum, who sipped no sup and who craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady. Heidi, Heidi, misery me, lackadaisy, he sipped no sup and he craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady.
I have a song to sing, oh.
What is your song, oh?
It is sung with the ring of the songs made sing, oh, love with a love lifelong, oh, is the song of a merry maid, really proud, who loved her lord and who loved her loud, at the moan of the merry man moping mum, whose soul was sad and whose glance was glum, who sipped no salt and who craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady. Lady, lady, misery me, lack-a-day-day, he sipped no salt and he craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady.
I have a song to sing, oh.
Sing me your song, oh.
It is sung to the knell of a churchyard bell with a doleful dirge ding-dong, oh. It's song of a popinjay bravely born, who turned up his noble nose with scorn at the humble merry maid clearly proud, who loved a lord and who laughed aloud at the moan of the merry man moping mum, whose soul was sad, whose glance was glum, who sipped no sup and who craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady. Lady, lady, misery me, lack-a-day-day, he sipped no sup and he craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady.
I have a song to sing, oh.
Sing me your song, oh.
It is sung with a sigh and a tear in the eye, for it tells of a righted wrong, oh. Is the song of a merry maid once so gay, who turned on her heel and tripped away from the big old popinjay bravely born, who turned up his noble nose with scorn at the humble heart that he did not prize. So she begged on her knees with downcast eyes for the love of the merry man moping mum, whose soul was sad and whose glance was glum, who sipped no sup and who craved no crumb, as he sighed for the love of a lady. Lady, lady, misery me, lack-a-day-day, he spake no more, he sighed no more, for he lived in the love of a lady.
Well sung and well danced.
A kiss for that pretty maid.
Best to beware, I'm armed.
Back, sir, back. This is going too far.
Thou dost not see the humour of it, eh? Yet there be humour in all things, even in this.
Sir, we sang to these folk, and they would have repaid us with gross courtesy but for your honour's coming.
Away with ye! Clear the rabble. Now, my girl, who are you, and what are you doing here?
May it please you, sir, we are two strolling friends, Jack Point and I, Elsie Maynard, at your worship's service. We go from fair to fair, singing and dancing and playing brief interviews, and thus we earn a poor living.
I see. You too, eh? Are ye man and wife?
Oh, no, sir, for though I am a fool, there's a limit to my folly. Her mother, old Bridget Maynard, travels with us, for Elsie is a good girl. But the old woman is abed with a fever, and we've come here to pick up some silver to buy an electuary for her.
Harkye, my girl. Your mother is ill,
Sorely ill, sir.
and requires good food and many other things thou canst not buy.
Alas, sir, it is too true.
Wouldst thou earn 100 crowns?
100 crowns? They might save our life.
Then listen. A worthy but unfortunate gentleman is to be beheaded in an hour's time on this very spot. And, for sufficient reasons, he desires to marry before he dies, and he hath asked me to find him a wife. Wouldst thou be that wife?
The wife of a man I've never seen.
For why, sir, look you, I am concerned in this, though I am not yet wedded to Elsie Maynard. Time works wonders, and we never know what might be in store for us. Have your worships word that the gentleman will die today?
Nothing is more certain, I grieve to say.
And the maiden will be allowed to depart the very instant the ceremony is at an end?
The very instant I pledge my honour that it shall be so.
And 100 crowns?
And 100 crowns.
Well, for my part, I consent, but it is her else, isn't it?
How say you, maiden, will you wed a man about to lose his head? For half an hour you'll be a wife, and then the dowry's yours for life. A headless bridegroom why refuse? If truth the poets tell, most bridegrooms ere they marry lose both head and heart as well.
A strange proposal you reveal, it almost makes my senses reel. Alas, I'm very poor indeed, and such a sum I sorely need. My mother, sir, is like to die. This money life may bring. Bear this in mind, I pray, if I consent to do this thing.
Though as a general rule of life, I don't allow my promised wife, my lovely bride that is to be, to marry anyone but me. Yet if the fee is promptly paid, and he well and brave, within the hour is duly laid, objection I will waive. Yes, objection I will waive.
Temptation, no temptation, but we have intended to shun whatever station your fascination splendid, or fall where'er we view you. Head over heels in toil, head over heels, head over heels, head over heels in toil.
I and like some of my jests out of place.
I have a vacancy for such an one. Tell me, what are your qualifications for such a position?
Marry, sir, I have a pretty wit. I can convulse you with quip and conundrum. I have the light of velocity at my tongue's tip. I can be merry, quaint, green, sardonic, one by one, and all at once. I have a pretty turn for anecdote. I know all the jests, ancient and modern, past, present, and to come. I can riddle you from dawn of day to set of sun, and if that not content you, well on to midnight in the small hours. Oh, sir, a pretty wit I warrant you, a pretty, pretty wit. I jibe and joke, and quip and crank, for lolly folk, and men of rank. I ply my craft, and know no fear, but aim my shaft at prince or peer, at peer or prince, at prince or peer. I aim my shaft, and know no fear. I've wisdom from the east and from the west, that's subject to no academic rule. You may find it in the jeering of a jest, or distill it from the folly of a fool. I can teach you with a quip if I've a mind. I can trick you into learning with a laugh. Oh, winnow all my folly, 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 and you'll find a grain or two of truth among the chaff. Oh, winnow all my folly, 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 and you'll find a grain or two of truth among the chaff. I can set a braggart craving with a quip. The upstart I can wither with a whip. He may wear a merry laughter on his lip, but the laughter has an echo that is grim. When you've offered to the world in many guise, unpleasant should the swallow with a will. For he would make his fellow creatures wise, should always gild the philosophic pill. For he would make his fellow creatures wise, should always gild the philosophic pill.
How came you to leave your last employer?
Oh, why, sir, it was thus wise. My lord was the Archbishop of Canterbury, and it was considered that one of my jests was out of place for his Grace's family circle. In truth, sir, I venture to ask a poor riddle. Whereon lay the difference between his Grace and poor Jack Point? His Grace was pleased to give it up. Thereupon I told him, whereas his Grace was paid £10,000 a year for being good, poor Jack Point was good for nothing. 'Twas but a harmless jest, but it offended his Grace, who whipped me and set me in the stocks as a Scudisle Road, and so we parted. I had as lief not to take post again with the dignified clergy.
I trust you are careful not to give offence. I have daughters.
Sir, all my jests are carefully selected, and anything objectionable is expunged. If your honour pleases, I'll try them out first on your honour's chaplain.
Can you give me an example? Say, I sat myself down hurriedly on something sharp.
Why, sir, then I would say that you had sat down on the spur of the moment.
Oh. I see. I didn't think much of that. Is that the best you can do?
It has always been much admired, but shall we try again?
Well then, I am at dinner, and the joint of meat is but half cooked.
Ah, why, sir, then I would say what is underdone cannot be helped.
I think this manner of things would become somewhat irritating.
At first may be, but you would come in time to like it.
We will suppose that I caught you kissing the kitchen wench under my very nose.
Under her very nose, good sir. That is where I would kiss her, not under yours. Do you take me? Oh, sir, a pretty wit, I warrant you, a pretty, pretty wit.
The maiden comes. Follow me, friend. We will discuss this matter at length in my library.
I am your worship's servant, that is, I trust I soon shall be. But before we proceed to more delicate matters, could your honour tell me, why is a cook's brain pan like an overwound clock?
A truce to this fooling, sir. Follow me.
Oh, just my luck, my best conundrum wasted. Oh.
confessor should be closeted alone with a strange singing girl. I would fain have espied them, but they stopped up the keyhole. My keyhole!
Wilfred, and alone.
Now, what could he have wanted with her? That's what puzzles me.
Now to get the key from him. Wilfred, has no reprieve arrived?
No. And I'd adored Fairfax's to die.
Nay, thou knowest that I have naught but pity for the poor condemned gentleman.
I know that he who is about to die is more to thee than I, who am alive and well.
Why, that were out of reason, dear Wilfred. Do they not say that a live ass is better than a dead lion? Oh, I don't mean that.
No. They say that, do they?
It's unpardonably rude of them, but I believe they did put it in that way. Not that it applies to thee, dear Wilfred, who art clever beyond all telling.
Oh, yes. As an assistant tormentor.
Nay, as a wit, as a humorist, as the most philosophical commentator on the vanity of human resolution.
Ah! That truly I have seen great resolution give way under my persuasive methods. In the nice regulation of the thumbscrew, in the 100th part of a single revolution, lieth all the difference between stony reticence and a torrent of impulsive unbosoming that the pen can scarcely follow. Ha ha! Oh, I'm a madwag.
Thou art a most light-hearted and delightful companion, Master Wilfred. Thine anecdotes of the torture chamber are the prettiest hearing.
I'm a merry fellow, and I too. I do believe I'm the merriest dog that barks. Ah, we might be passing at me together.
Perhaps, I do not know.
And thou wouldst make a most loving and tender wife.
I, to one whom I really loved. For there is a wealth of love within this little heart, saving up for, I wonder whom. Now, of all the world of men, I wonder whom. To think that he whom I am to marry is alive and somewhere, perhaps far away, perhaps close at hand. And I know him not. It seemeth that I'm wasting time in not knowing him.
Here, say that it were I. And suppose it for the nonce. Say that we were wed. Suppose it only. And that thou art my very bride. And I thy cheery, joyous, bright, frolicsome husband. And the day's work being done, and all the prisoners stored away for the night, thou and I are alone together, with a long, long evening before us.
It is a pretty picture, but I scarcely know it cometh so unexpectedly. And yet, were I thy bride?
Why, wert thou my bride?
How I would love thee! Were I thy bride, then all the world beside were not too wide to hold my wealth of love. Were I thy bride, upon thy breast my loving head would rest as on her neck the tender turtle dove. Were I thy bride, this heart of mine would be one heart with thine, and in that shrine of happiness would dwell. Were I thy bride, and all day long our life should be a song, no grief, no wrong should make my heart rebel. Were I thy bride, the silvery flute, the melancholy lute, were night owl pulls to my low whispered mood. Were I thy bride, the skylark's trill were but discord
the soft thrill of cooing as I coo. Were I thy bride, the roses sigh, were as a carrion's cry to lullaby such as I sing to thee. Were I thy bride, a bearer's crest were led in heaviness through my caress, but then of course you'd be thy bride.
No, thou art not. Not yet. Ooh, but Lord, how she wooed me. Now, I should be no mean judge of wooing, seeing as I've been more often wooed than most men. I've been wooed by maid, by widow and wife. I've been wooed boldly, timidly, tearfully, shyly, by direct assault, by suggestion. Here, but this wooing is not the common order of wooing. It's the wooing of one who must needs woo me. Has she died? Oh, the deed is so far safely accomplished. The sly boots, have she wheeled in? Oh, what a helpless ninnies are not so bad. But a lute in a woman's hand, and she plays upon it whatever tunes she. If the colonel comes, in faith it's only just in time, for the yeoman parade him in his execution in 2 minutes.
My good and kind friend, thou runnest a great risk for me.
Tut, no risk. I'll warrant none here will recognise you. You make a great nose. Oh, it's rushed too hard. Sword hang thus. Use your helmet, sir. Carry him thus. You can now remember, you're my brave son, Leonard Bear.
If I may not bear mine own name, there is none I would bear so readily.
I'll put a bold face on it, sir, but I can't.
Oh, Sergeant Merrill, is it true? The welcome news we read in orders. My son, whose deeds of daring do are echoed all the country through, has come to join the Tower Warders. If so, we come to meet him, that we may fitly greet him, and welcome his arrival here with shout on shout and cheer on cheer. Hurrah! 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 Warders, nursed in war's alarms, circled of gunpowder and wind of glory. Behold my son, whose all-subduing arms have formed the theme of many a song and story. Forgive his aged father's pride, nor cheer his aged father's sympathetic tear. Never, 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 one place he in time of peril, man of power, knight of the hour, welcome to the grim old town. Oh, the tower, welcome thou.
narrated have been prodigiously exaggerated, prodigiously exaggerated.
'Tis ever thus, wherever valor true is found, true modesty will there abound.
Didst thou not, O Leonard Merrill, stand and lost in last campaign, rescue it at deadly peril, bear it safely back again?
Leonard Merrill at his peril, hold it safely back again.
Didst thou not, when prisoner take, and depart from all escape, faced with gallant heart and shaken, death in most appalling shape?
Leonard Merrill faced his peril, death in most appalling shape.
Truly I was to be pitied, having but an hour to live. I reluctantly submitted, I had no alternative. All the tales and narrated of my deeds of daring do have been much exaggerated, very much exaggerated. Scarce a word of them is true, scarce a word of them is true.
They are not exaggerated, not at all exaggerated, couldn't be exaggerated. Every one of them is true.
I beg your pardon.
Don't you know me? I'm little Phoebe.
Phoebe, is this Phoebe? What? Little Phoebe? Who the deuce may she be? It can't be Phoebe, surely.
Yes, 'tis Phoebe. Your sister Phoebe, your own little sister.
And is this the truth? 'Tis Phoebe.
Sister Phoebe.
Oh, my brother,
Why are you grown? I did not recognize you.
so many years. Oh, my brother,
Oh, my sister. Oh, sister. Oh, sister.
Ugly girl, there are three thou mayst hug, thy father and thy brother and myself.
Thyself, forsooth, and who art thou thyself?
Good sir, we are betrothed.
or more or less, but rather less than more.
To thy fond care I do commend my sister. Be to her an ever watchful guardian, eagle-eyed, and when she feels, as sometimes she does feel, disposed to indiscriminate caress, be thou at hand to take those favours from her.
Be thou at hand to take those favours from her.
Yes, yes, be thou at hand to take those favours from me.
To thy fraternal care, thy sister I commend. From every lurking snare, thy lovely charge defend. And to achieve this end, oh grant, I pray, this boon, oh grant this boon. She shall not quit thy sight from morn till afternoon, from afternoon till night, from 7 o'clock till 2, from 2 till eventide, from dim twilight till 11 at night, from dim twilight till 11 at night. She shall not quit thy side.
From morn till afternoon, from afternoon till 11 at night, she shall not quit thy side.
So aim your ball like grown, no innocent as well. That if I'm left alone, the consequences will no mortal can foretell. So grant I pray this boon, so grant this boon. I shall not quit thy side from morn to afternoon, from afternoon to night, from 10 to 2, from 2 till eventide, from midnight to dawn at night, from midnight to dawn at night. Shall not quit thy side.
From morn till afternoon, from afternoon till 11 at night, she shall not quit thy side.
With brother readiness for my fair sister's sake, at once I'll answer yes, that task I'll undertake. My word I'll never break,
I freely grant that boon.
and I'll repeat my plight from morn to afternoon, from afternoon to night, from 7 o'clock to 2,
From 2 till even meal, from dim twilight to midnight, from dim twilight to midnight, the compact I will seal.
From morn till afternoon, from afternoon till 11 at night, she freely grants that boon.
God, I know not how to tell the news I bear. I and my comrades sought the prisoner's cell. He's not there.
He is not there. They saw the prisoner's cell. He is not there.
As escort for the prisoner, we sought his cell in duty bound, and double gratings open when a prisoner at all we found. We hunted high, we hunted low, we hunted here, we hunted there. The man we sought with anxious care had vanished into empty air. The man we sought with anxious care had vanished into empty air.
By night of the news is heard, the man has vanished into air.
As escort for the prisoner, we sought his cell in duty bound, the double gratings open when a prisoner at all we found. We hunted high, we hunted low, we hunted here, we hunted there. The man we sought with anxious care had vanished into empty air. The man we sought with anxious care had vanished into empty air.
Astounding news, the prisoner fled. Thy life shall forfeit be instead.
My lord, I did not set him free. I hate the man my rival is.
The prisoner gone, I'm all again.
Myself forfeit be instead.
Who could have helped him to escape?
My lord, I did not set him free.
Indeed, I can't imagine who. I've no idea at all. Have you? A piece escaped, no traces lurking. Chartment must have been at work. What have I done? Oh, woe is me. Indeed, I can't imagine who. I've no idea at all. Have you?
Oh, woe is you. Your language sink. Oh, woe is me. I rather think is woe is me. I rather think is woe is me. I rather think when every time you are his bride and I am left alone, you left. Is woe is me. I rather think is woe is me. I rather think is woe is me.
Oh, friendship, friendship, this despair they ring. The great achieving of its truth. Who is and this be not a name. Who has contrived this thing to do? Let's search and make the lost the land. For his vindictive anger dread. 1,000 marks, 1,000 marks here and who brings him here alive or dead? drink, every outlet, every drain, have we searched, but all in vain, all in vain.
Orders are ye, whom do ye want?
Every house, every chink, every drain,
Orders are ye, whom do ye
every
want?
outlet, have we searched, but all in vain.
Let us
Orders are we, whom do we want? Whom do we want? Orders are we, whom do we want?
when this is done,
Orders are we,
yes, this is done.
The Merry Jests of Hugh Ambrose, number 7863. The Poor Wit and the Rich Counsellor. A certain poor wit, being an-hungered, did meet a well-fed counsellor. Marry, fool, quoth the counsellor, whither away? In truth, said the poor wag, in that I've eaten naught these last 2 days. I do wither away, and that right rapidly. The counsellor laughed hugely and gave him a sausage. That counsellor was easy to please, the mind you master, lieutenant. I wish I had taken post under that counsellor. Ah, 'tis but melancholy mumming when poor broken-hearted jilty Jack Point needs must turn to original Hugh Ambrose for original light humour.
Ah, Master Point.
Ah, friend jail that was, jail that never shall be more, jail that jailed not, or jail he did, 'twas but jelly jailing, or jailing in joke, that no joke to him would jeopardise his jailership. Come, take heart, smile, laugh, wink, twinkle. Thou tormentor that tormentest, thou racker that rackest not, thou pincher out of place. Come, take heart, be as merry as I am, as I am.
It is well for thee to laugh. Thou hast a good post and hast cause to be merry.
Cause? Have we not all cause? Isn't the world a big butt of humour into which all may drive a gimlet? See, I am a salaried wit, and is there aught in nature more ridiculous? A poor, dull, broken-hearted man, who must rejoice lest he starve, who must be merry lest he be whipped, who must gesture, jibe, be quick, be cranky, rush, riddle from early morn to set of sun. Oh, and there's naught out to laugh at. I laugh at myself till I ache for it.
Yet I've often thought that a jester's calling would suit me to a hair.
Suit thee? Thou, death's head and crossbones.
I have a pretty wit, a light, airy, joysome wit, spiced with anecdotes of prison cells and the torture chamber. Oh, a very delicate wit. I've tried it on many a prisoner, and there have been some who've smiled. Now, it's not easy to make a prisoner smile, so it should not be difficult to be a good jester, seeing as thou art one.
Difficult? Nothing easier, nothing easier. Attend and I will prove it to thee. Oh, a private buffoon is a light-hearted loon if you listen to popular rumour. From the morn to the night he's so joyous and bright that he bubbles with wit and good humour. He's so quaint and so turned both in prose and in verse, though yet people forgive his transgressions. There are 1 or 2 rules that all family fools must observe if they love their profession. There are 1 or 2 rules, half a dozen maybe, that all family fools of whatever degree must observe if they love their profession. If you wish to succeed as a jester, you'll need to consider each person's auricular. What is all right for B, which quite scandalise C, for C is so very particular. And D may be dull, and his very thick skull is as empty as his brain is a ladle. While F is F sharp, and will cry with a carp. That is known your best joke from your cradle. Though your humour may flout, you can't let yourself go, and it does put you out when a person says, "Oh, I've known that old joke from me cradle." If your master is surly from getting up early and tempers are short in the morning, and inopportune joke is enough to provoke him to give you at once a month's warning, then if you refrain, he is at you again, for he likes to get value for money. He'll ask then and there, with an insolent stare, if you know that you're paid to be funny, or it adds to the task of a merry man's place when the principal asks with a scowl on his face. If you know that you're paid to be funny, comes a bishop maybe, or a solemn DD, you'll beware of his anger provoking. Better not pull his hair or stick pins in his chair, he don't understand practical joking. Though the gesture may crack, have an orthodox smack, you will get a man's smile from these sages. But should they by chance be imported from France, half a crown is stopped out of your wages. It's a general rule that you'll see it may quench that all family fools tell a joke that's too French. Half a crown is stopped out of your wages. Though your headache may rack with a bilious attack and your senses from truth think you're losing, don't be mopey and flattered and fine you for that, for you're properly acquainted and amusing. Though your wife ran away with a soldier that day and took with you a trifle of money, bless your heart, they don't mind. They're exceedingly kind. They don't blame you as long as you're funny. It's a comfort to feel though your partner should fit, though you suffer a deal, they don't mind it a bit. They don't blame you as long as you're funny. So thou would be a jester, eh?
Ah.
My sweetheart, Elsie Maynard, was married to this Fairfax half an hour ere he escaped.
Ah, she did well.
She did nothing of the kind, so hold thy peace and prepare. Now, whilst he liveth, she is dead to me and I to her. And all my jibes and jokes notwithstanding, I'm the saddest, sorriest dog in all England.
Thou art a very dull dog indeed.
Now, if thou was to swear that thou didst shoot this Fairfax whilst he was trying to swim across the river, it needs but the discharge of an arquebus on a dark night, and that his sank and was seen no more, I'll make thee the very Archbishop of Jesters, and that in Tuesday's time. Now what sayest thou?
I am to lie.
Heartily. But it is to be a lie of circumstance, which I will testify with the testimony of eyes, ears, and tongue.
And thou wouldst qualify me as a jester.
As a jester among jesters, I will teach thee all my original songs, my self-constructed riddles, all my own ingenious paradoxes, nay more, I will reveal to thee the source from whence I get them. Now what sayest thou?
Why, if it is but a lie thou wantest to me, then I hold it cheap with that. And I say yes.
Oh.
It is a bargain.
126 1.
Hereupon we both agreed, all that we two do agree to secure by solemn deed, to prevent all element or anyone else he ought to call with a story grim and gory.
At this Fairfax done and all, I declare to, you're to swear to.
I to swear to,
I declare to,
I to swear to,
I declare to,
I to swear to, you're declared to, I to swear to. Tell a tale of cock and bull, of convincing detail full. Tale tremendous and defenders, what a tale of cock and bull. In return for your part, I am making undertaking to instruct you in the art amazing, wonder raising of a jester, jesting free, proposition, my ambition,
and a lively one I'll be. Wag-a-wagging, never flagging.
wag-a-wagging,
And never flagging.
wag-a-wagging,
And never flagging. Wag-a-wagging, never flagging. Wag-a-wagging.
tell a tale of cock and bull, of convincing detail full. Tale tremendous and defenders, what a tale of cock and bull. What a tale of cock, what a tale of bull. What a tale of cock, what a tale of bull. What a tale of cock and bull, cock and bull, cock and bull, and defenders, what a tale of cock and bull.
days gone and no news of poor Fairfax. The dolts, they seek him everywhere save within a dozen yards of his dungeon. So I am free. Free, but for the cursed haste with which I hurried headlong into the bonds of matrimony, with heaven knows whom. As far as I remember, she shouldn't have been young. But even had her face not been concealed by her kerchief, I doubt whether in my then plight I should have taken much note of her. Free? Bah! The tower bonds were but a thread of silk compared to these conjugal fetters with which I, fool that I was, placed upon mine own hands. From the one I broke readily enough. How to break from the other?
Free from his fetters grim, free to depart, free both in life and limb, in all but heart, bound to an unknown bride for good and ill. Ah, is not one so tied, a prisoner still, a prisoner still. Ah, is not one so tied, a prisoner still. Free, yet in Phantom's hell, till his last hour. Chives that no smith can wear, nor rust devour. Although monarch's hand had set him free, of all the captive band, the saddest he, the saddest he. Of all the captive band, the saddest, saddest he.
Well, Sergeant Merrill, how fares thy pretty charge, Elsie Maynard?
Oh, well enough, sir. She's quite strong again and leaves us tonight.
Thanks to Dame Carruthers' kind nursing, eh?
I do take the old witch. It was a pretty trick you played me, sir, to bring the fainting girl to me. It gave the old lady an excuse for taking up her quarters in my house. And for 2 years I've shunned her like the plague. Another day of it and she'd have married me. Good Lord, here she's again. Oh.
Nay, Sergeant Merrill, don't go. I've got something of grave import to say to thee.
It's coming.
In faith, I think I'm not wanted here.
Nay, Master Leonard, I've nothing to say to thy father that his son may not hear.
True, I am one of the family. I had quite forgotten.
'Tis about this Elsie Maynard. A pretty girl, Master Leonard.
Aye, fair as a peach blossom. What then?
She hath a liking for thee, if I mistake not.
With all my heart, she's as dainty a little maid as you'll meet in any midsummer day's march.
Then be warned in time and give not thy heart to her. I know what it is to give my heart to one who will have none of it.
She knows all about that. And why should my lad not give heed to her? She's a good girl, Dame Carruthers.
Good enough for all I know, but she's no girl. She's a married woman.
A married woman? Tush, old lady. She's promised to Jack Point, the lieutenant's new jester.
Tush in thy teeth, old man. As my niece Kate sat by her bedside today, this Elsie slept. And as she slept, she moaned and groaned and turned this way and that way. How can I marry one I have never seen, quoth she. And then 100 crowns, quoth she. And then, is it certain he'll die in an hour, quoth she. And then, I love him not, and yet I am his wife, quoth she. Is that not so, Kate?
Aye, aunt, 'tis even so.
Art thou sure of all this?
Aye, sir, for I wrote it all down.
Now mark my words, it was of this Fairfax she spake, and he's her husband, or I'll swallow my girdle.
Is this true, sir?
True? Why, the girl was raving. Why should she marry a man who had but an hour to live?
Marry? Why, there are those that would marry but for a minute, rather than die an old maid.
And I know one of them.
Strange adventure made on weather, to a room she'd never seen, never seen. Groom about to be beheaded in an old tower green, tower green. Groom in dreary dungeon lying, groom as good as dead or dying, for a pretty maid sighing, crazy maid of 17, 17. Strange adventure has with rolling, modest maid and gallant groom, gallant groom. While the funeral bell is tolling, bim-a-boom, bim-a-boom. Modest maiden will not tarry, though but 60 years she carry. She must marry, though the altar be a tomb. Tower, 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 tomb. Tower, tomb. Tower, tomb. Though the altar be a tomb. Tower, 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 tomb.
So, my mysterious bride is none other than the winsome Elsie. By my hand, 'tis no such ill plunge in fortune's lucky bag. I might have fared worse with my eyes open. But she comes, now to test her principles. 'Tis not every husband who has the chance of wooing his own wife. Mistress Elsie,
Master Leonard.
so thou leavest us tonight.
Yes, Master Leonard. I have been kindly tended, and I fear I am loath to go.
And this Fairfax, wast thou glad when he escaped?
Why, yes, Master Leonard. It is a sad thing when a young and gallant gentleman should die in the very fullness of his life.
And when thou didst faint in my arms, 'twas for joy at his safety.
It may have been so. I was highly wrought. I am but a girl. When I am highly wrought, I faint.
Now, dost thou know I am consumed with a parlous jealousy?
Thou? And of who?
Why, of this Fairfax, surely.
Of Colonel Fairfax.
Aye. Shall I be frank with thee? Elsie, I love thee ardently, passionately. Elsie, I have loved thee these 2 days, which is a long time, and I would fain join my life with thine.
Master Leonard, thou art jesting.
Jesting? May I shrivel to raisins if I jest? I love thee with a love that is a fever, with a love that is a frenzy, with a love that eateth up my very heart. Come, what sayest thou? Thou wilt not let my heart be eaten up.
Oh, mercy. What am I to say?
Now, dost thou love me, or hast thou been insensible these 2 days?
I love all brave men.
Nay, there is love in excess. I thank heaven there are many brave men in England, but if thou lovest them all, I withdraw my thanks.
I love the bravest best. But, sir, I may not listen. I am not free. I am a wife.
Thou? A wife? Come, his name, his days are numbered, his grave is dug, and his epitaph is set up. Come, his name.
Oh, sir, keep my secret, for it is the only barrier that fate could set up between us. My husband is none other than Colonel Fairfax.
Colonel Fairfax? The greatest villain unhung, the most ill-favoured, ill-natured, ill-omened, ill-tempered dog in Christendom.
It is very like. He is naught to me, for I never saw him. I was blindfolded, and he was to have died within the hour. But he did not die, and I am wedded to him, and my heart is broken.
He was to have died, and he did not die. Thou shouldst have insisted upon his dying first, to make sure. 'Tis the only way with these Fairfaxes.
I now wish I had.
Bloodthirsty little maid. Come, a fig for this Fairfax. Be mine, he will never know. Fly with me, Elsie. We shall be married tomorrow, and thou shalt be the happiest wife in all of England.
Master Leonard, I am amazed. Is it thus that brave soldiers speak to poor girls? Oh, for shame. For shame. I am wed. Nonetheless, because I love not my husband, I am a wife, and I have a duty. Oh, sir, thy words terrify me. They are not honest. They are wicked words, and unworthy my great and brave heart. Oh, shame upon me. Shame upon me.
Nay, Elsie, I did but jest. I spake but to try.
Hark, what was that, sir?
Why, an arquebus far from the war, unless I much mistake.
Strange, and at such an hour. What can it mean? Now what can that have been? A shot so late at night, enough to cause a fright. What can the portent be?
A woman in the land is London
A woman in the land is London to be read. What are we to expect? What danger is at hand? What danger is at hand?
Who fired that shot? At once the truth declared.
My lord, 'twas I to rashly judge forbear.
My lord, 'twas him to rashly judge forbear.
Like a ghost's vigil keeping,
Or a spectre all appalling.
I beheld a figure creeping.
I should rather call it crawling.
He was creeping.
He was crawling.
He was creeping.
Crawling.
He was creeping.
Crawling.
He was creeping. Not a moment's hesitation, I myself upon him flung, with a hurried explanation to his draperies I hung. Then we chose with one another in a rough and tumble smother. Colonel Fairfax, and no other was the matter whom I hung.
Colonel Fairfax and no other, Colonel Fairfax and no other, Colonel Fairfax and no other was the man to whom he flung.
After mighty tug and tussle,
It resembled more a struggle.
he budded a stronger muscle.
Or by some infernal juggle.
From my clutches quickly sliding,
I should rather call it slip.
with a view no doubt of hiding.
Or escaping to the ship.
With a gasp and with a quiver,
I describe it as a shiver.
down he dived into the river. But alas, I cannot swim. Ingenuity is catching with the view, my king of pleasing archy bust from sentry snatching.
I should rather call it seizing.
With an answer to a lead, I dispatch him through the head.
With an answer to a lead, he dispatched him through the head.
I discharge it without winking. Little time is lost in thinking. Like a stone, I saw him sinking.
I should say a lump of lead.
He discharged it without thinking, little time he lost in thinking.
Like a stone, I saw him sinking.
I should say a lump of lead.
Like a stone, boy, I say.
Or a heavy lump of lead.
Like a stone, boy, I say.
Or a heavy lump of lead.
Any other man is dead, whether stone or lump of lead.
Any other man is dead, whether stone or lump of lead. I'll be blessed and simply seizing with the news in your music. I'll be blessed and simply seizing with the news in your music. The children do the hair, and he's very, very dead. And it matters very little whether stone or lump of lead. He's very, very sad and very, very, very dead.
The river must be dragged, no time be lost. The body must be found at any cost. To this attend without undue delay. So set to work with what dispatch ye may.
Yes, yes, we'll set to work with what dispatch we may.
Nay, sweetheart, be comforted. This Fairfax was but a pestilent fellow, and as he had to die, he might as well have died thus than any other way. 'Twas a good death.
Still, he was my husband, and had he not been, he was nevertheless a living man, and now he is dead. And so, my tears may flow uncheated, Master Point.
And thou didst see all this?
Aye, with both eyes at once, this and that. The testimony of one eye is naught, but when it is corroborated by the other, here is evidence that none should gainsay. Here are both present in court, ready to swear to him.
But art thou sure it was Colonel Fairfax? Saw you his face?
Aye, a plague ill-favoured face it was too. A felon face. A face that would fright the head from himself and make him strike a eye. Oh, a plaguey bad face. Take my word for it. How they laugh. 'Tis ever thus with simple folk, and except it wit had but to say, pass the mustard, and they roar the ribs out.
If ever I come to life again, thou shalt pay for this, Master Point.
Now, our sin, thou art free to choose again. So behold me. I am young and well-favoured. I have a pretty wit. I can jest you, jibe you, quip you, crank you.
Tush, man. Thou knowest not how to fool. 'Tis not to be done with time-worn jests and threadbare sophistries, with quips, conundrums, rhymes, and paradoxes. 'Tis an art in itself, and should be studied gravely and conscientiously.
A man who would rule a fair maid should prentice himself to the trade and study all day, methodical way, how to flatter, cajole, and persuade. He should prentice himself at 14 and practice from morning to wean. And when he's of age, he will and engage, he may capture the heart of the queen, the heart of a queen. 'Tis only a matter of skill, which all may take they will. Not every jockey must study the knack if he wants to make sure his chill, if he wants to make sure of his chill.
If he's made the best use of his time, his tweak will so carefully lie. Whatever record and done at his foot, whatever its plumage or crime, he must learn that the thrill of a touch may mean little for nothing for much. It's habitual dread to be handled with care and ought to be treated as such. Ought to be treated as such.
'Tis only a matter of skill, which all may take they will.
But every junkie must study the knack if he wants to make sure of his Jill, if he wants to make sure of his Jill.
Then a glance may be timid or free, it will vary in mighty degree, from an impudent stare to a look of despair that no maid without pity can see. And a glance of despair is no guide, it may have its ridiculous side. It may draw you a tear or a box of beer. You can never be sure till you've tried. Never be sure till you've tried.
It is only a matter of skill, which all may attain if they will. But every junkie must study the knack if he wants to make sure of his Jill, if he wants to make sure of his Jill. But yes, every Jack must study the knack if he wants to make sure of his Jill.
Listen to me. 'Tis done thus. Mistress Elsie, there is one here who, as thou knowest, loves thee right well.
That he does, right well.
He is but a man of poor estate, but he hath a loving and honest heart, and he would be a true and trusty husband to thee. And if thou wilt consent to be his wife, thou shalt lie curled up in his heart, like a squirrel in its nest.
It's a pretty figure. A maggot in a nut lies closer, but a squirrel will do.
He knowest thou wast a wife, a poor, unloved and unloving wife, and his heart was near to breaking. But now that thine unloving husband is dead and thou art free, he would fain pray that thou wouldst hearken unto him and give hope that thou would one day be his.
He presses her hand and whispers in her ear. Odds bodykins, what does it mean?
Now, sweetheart, tell me, wilt thou be this poor good fellow's wife?
If the good brave man, is he a brave man?
So men say.
That's not true, but we'll let it pass.
If the good brave man will be content with a poor, penniless, untaught maid,
Widow, and we'll let that pass.
then I will be his true and loving wife, and that with my heart of hearts.
My own dear love.
What's all this? Brother? Brother? It's not seemly.
Oh, I can't let that pass. Hey, Master Leonard, an advocate should have his fee, but methinks thou art overpaying thyself.
Nay, that is for Elsie to say. I promised thee I would show thee how to woo, and herein lies the proof of the virtue of my teaching. Go thou and apply it elsewhere.
When a wooer goes a-wooing, not his true than his true.
Maiden hushing all his suing, boldly blushing, bravely coy, bravely coy, boldly blushing.
Oh, the happy days of doing.
Oh, the happy days of doing, oh, the sighing and the sewing, when a wooer goes a-wooing, oh, the sweets that never cloy.
When a brother leaves his sister for another sister weeps, 'tis that trickle, 'tis that blister, 'tis that fickle sister weeps, 'tis that trickle, 'tis that blister.
Oh, the doing and undoing.
Oh, the doing and undoing, oh, the sighing and the sewing, when a brother goes a-wooing, and a sobbing sister
outwitted, feelings fester, heart is led, food for fishes only fitted, jester wishes he was dead. Food for fishes only fitted, jester wishes he was dead.
All the doing and undoing, all the sighing and the suing, when a jester calls a wooing, and he wishes he was dead. All the doing and undoing, all the sighing and the suing, when a jester calls a wooing, and he wishes he was dead. He wishes he was dead.
And I helped that man to escape. And I've kept his secret and pretended that I was his only loving sister and done everything I could think of to make folk believe I was his loving sister. And this is his gratitude. Before I turn sister to anybody again, I'll turn none of his sister to everybody, not as much as another.
Oh, in tears, eh? And what plague art thou grizzling for now?
Why am I grizzling? Thou hast often wept for jealousy. Well, 'tis for jealousy that I weep now. I, yellow, bilious, jaundiced jealousy, so make the most of that, Master Wilfred.
Yet I have never given thee cause for jealousy. The lieutenant's cookmaid and I are but the merest gossips.
Jealous of thee? I'm jealous of no craven cock on a hill who crows about what he'd do when he dared. No, I'm jealous of another. And a better man than thou, Master Wilfred, set that down. And he's to marry Elsie Maynard, the little pale fool. Set that down. And my heart is well nigh broken. There, thou hast it all. Make the most of it.
The man thou lovest is to marry Elsie Maynard. Why, that is none other than thy brother, Leonard Merrill.
Oh, mercy. What have I said?
Here. What manner of brother is this, thou lying little jade? Speak! Who is this man that thou hast called brother, and fondled and cuddled and kissed, and with my connivance? Oh, Lord, and with my connivance. Here. Here. Should it be this Fairfax? It's this accursed Fairfax! It's Fairfax! Fairfax!
Who roused his shot through the head, and who lies at the bottom of the river.
Ah! Well, I might be mistaken. We are all but fallible mortals, but I'll make sure. I'll make sure!
No, stop. One word. I think it cannot be Fairfax. Mind I say I think, because thou's just slain Fairfax. But whether it be Fairfax or no Fairfax, he's to marry Elsie. And as thou shot him through the head and he's dead, be content with that. And I will be thy wife.
Is that sure?
Aye, sure enough. But there's no help for it. Thou'rt a very brute. But even brutes must marry, I suppose.
My beloved!
Oh, Phoebe! Phoebe! Phoebe, rejoice with me. I'm doing glad tidings. Colonel Fairfax's decree was signed. 2 days since. It was foully and maliciously kept back by Secretary Poltwhistle, who designed it should arrive after the Colonel's death. It has come to life and is now in the Lieutenant's possession.
Oh, then the Colonel is free! Oh, kiss me, my dear! Kiss me again!
You're Bob Dick of my life, art thou mad? Am I mad? Are we all mad?
My dear, I will now Christ with joy.
Dear, come away from him, thou pussy, thou jade, thou kissing, clinging cockatrice. As for thee, sir, the devil take thee. I'll rip thee like herring for this. I'll skin thee for it. I'll cleave thee to the chine. Phoebe, who is this man?
He's fooled. He's my brother.
Another brother? Are there any more of them? Produce them all at once and let me know the worst.
This is the real Leonard Dolt. The real Leonard. The other was but his substitute. My father's own son.
How do I know this? Has he got brother writ large on his brow? I mistrust thy brothers. Thou art but a false jade.
Come, Wilfred. Be just. Truly did I deceive thee before, but 'twas to save a precious life, and not to save it for myself, but for another, and they're to be wed this very day. Is not this enough for thee? Come, I am thy Phoebe, thy very own, and we will be wed in a year. Or 2. Or 3 at the most. Is not that enough for thee?
Phoebe, hast thou heard the brave news?
Aye, father.
Oh, I'm now mad with joy. Hey, what's all this?
Oh, father, he discovered our secret through my folly, and the price of his silence is...
Phoebe's heart.
Oh, dear, no. Phoebe's aunt.
It's the same thing.
Is it?
Dad.
It's a pity. For the Colonel had to be saved at any cost. And if thy folly revealed our secret, thy folly must eat suffer for it. Dave Carruthers!
So, this is a plot to shield that archfiend, and I have discovered it. One word from me, and 3 heads will roll from their shoulders.
Nay, the Colonel is reprieved. And yet if my complicity in his escape were known, plague on the old meddler. There's nothing for it. Hush, pretty one. Such bloodthirsty words ill become those cherry lips.
Sergeant Merrill.
Why, look, Chud, for many a month I've thought to myself, the snowglove saving up in that middle-aged bosom for someone, why not for thee? So take heart and tell her that thou lovest. There, I'm a miserable old man and I've done it, but not a word about Fairfax. The price of thy silence is...
Merrill's heart.
Oh, dear no. Merrill's hand.
But it's the same thing.
Is it?
Comes a pretty young bride, a blushing, timidly shrinking, set all ideas aside, cheerily pretty young bride. Brave is the youth to whom thy Lord art bidding
joy in full perfection comes only once to womankind. But other times on close inspection, some lurking bit or we shall find. If this be so, and men say truly, a day of joy has risen to thee. With happiness, our soul is cloyed. With happiness is cloyed. With happiness, our soul is cloyed. This is our joy day unalloyed, unalloyed. This is our joy day unalloyed.
Yes, yes, with happiness her soul is cloyed. This is her joy day Old, pretty one, I bring to the news. Oh, it is for thee to say. Thy husband lives, and he is free, and comes to claim his bride this very day.
All thoughts of learned men are set aside. Thou art mine own, I claim thee as my bride.
Thou art his own, as he claims thee as his bride.
A suppliant at thy feet I fall. My heart will yield to pity's call.
Mine is a heart of massive rock, unmoved by sentimental shock.
My heart's agony.
Let my loved one come to me. They bear me hence away. But though they take me from placed me in thy power, would I had died. Sir, I obey. I am thy bride.
Attend to me, and shed a tear or two. Oh, I have a song to sing. Oh, sing your song. It is sung to the moon by the lovelorn loon who fled from the mocking throng. Oh, it's a song of a merry man moping mum, whose soul was sad, whose glance was glum, who sipped no sup and who craved no crumbs. He sighed for the love of a lady.